You're listening to Unlocked, Your Career by Design with Samantha Florence, Fortune 100 executive, billion-dollar business leader, and founder of Powerhouse Code. Here, you'll discover how to build authority, attract opportunities, and lead with authentic presence. If you're ready to claim your spotlight and step into your next level, you're in the right place. Let's unlock your career by design. If you've ever sat at your desk after another round of reorg announcements, feeling stuck, frustrated, not recognized, overlooked, wondering, what am I even doing here? This episode is for you because I've been there when the effort doesn't match the outcome, when visibility feels unfair, and when you start asking the same painful questions on repeat over and over again. Why did my colleague get promoted and not me? Why do I give 120%, but the one that gives 80 is the one getting the recognition? Why do I feel like an idiot because I'm here working nights and weekends during a moment when the rest takes time and space to digest the reorg? Will I ever progress in this company? Now, whether there's an actual reorg going on in your workplace or you just feel that you've been passed over, overlooked, or feeling stuck and stagnated for a long time, these questions might arise. Why me? Why am I the one that's feeling stuck? Because it might look that the rest of your team, your organization is thriving, getting the great roles, getting the fancy projects. But most of the time, everyone is struggling with the same things. And so why questions are like walking in circles in a fog. You might feel busy, but you never actually move forward. These why questions keep you focused on the past and on what you cannot control. So imagine keeping asking the why questions. Why me? Why didn't I get the role? Why do I get a good performance review, but I'm not moving up? Why don't it tell me what's actually wrong? What is the reason that I'm not progressing? It's the same why questions that are keeping you in this exact same place. And not only from a position or a job perspective, but even if you're in your life and in your mindset, if you're feeling angry, if you're feeling frustrated, if you're feeling sad, the why question, why was the job offered to somebody else? Why am I the one who got overlooked? Why does somebody else get a bigger scope and I don't? Why? Those are not the right questions to ask. Those questions keep you in the same negative down spiral. And I'm referring to your mindset. I'm referring to the way you're thinking. And your mindset has such a big influence on how you feel, on your nervous system, on your system, really. So that's from a mind perspective. But imagine also the outcome if you keep asking why questions and you continue to feel stuck in life, in work, in business. Because why questions, they don't help you to move forward. And I want you to start thinking about a shift. Because those why questions are normal, right? They arise. That's our brain's way to rationalize things and try to make sense of what's happening. But I want you to start exploring the emotional and strategic shift that happens when you change the questions you ask. Why is this happening to me? How about you shift that into, what is this season trying to teach me? Why was I overlooked? What do I want to be known for next? Why can't I move ahead? What would I like? What would it look like if I created my next opportunity instead of waiting for it? Do you see how these questions land differently for you? From why is this happening to me to what is this season trying to teach me? Why was I overlooked to what do I want to be known for next? From why can I move ahead to what would it look like if I created my next opportunity instead of waiting for it? How does that make you feel? Shifting from asking a why question to asking a what question. And the difference is, my dear listeners, that one keeps you hostage, keeps you feeling like you don't have control of what is happening to you, whereas the other is more empowering. It shifts from feeling held hostage by your boss, by your manager, by your company, by your organization, to asking questions as to how can I turn this situation into a positive one? How can I turn this into the story I'm going to ask 5 years from now when I'm in that job interview for my dream role, my dream career? And so the beauty of when setbacks happen is how do you turn them into opportunities? And don't get me wrong, it's okay to feel frustrated. It's okay to feel angry, to feel sad when things happen to you that feel like they're not in your control. When somebody else decides for you that you are worthy of moving up or not. When somebody else decides for you what your new role is going to be in the organization. Or when somebody else decides on your performance rating. Now, when you are in a professional environment, you operate in a system. There's a contract between you as a professional and your organization as a corporate or institution. And you provide services, and in return for those services, you get compensated. That's the harsh truth and the hard reality of corporate, of organizations. Okay. Now we are humans in this environment. We are humans operating in this system. But at the end of the day, if you strip away all the emotions, all the feelings, the humanness of the workplace, you are here as a professional, contributing your time, your knowledge, your skills, and in return, your employer compensates you for it. That's it. And this might sound harsh, but it's the truth. And the quicker you realize that, the quicker you accept that you have a contract where you render services and in return you get compensated, the easier it is to turn those questions that could lead to a down spiral, that could lead to you staying in this place of stuckness, to actually start looking for opportunities and start getting back in control of your career, your life, and your future. Okay? So I want to go back to why, asking why questions instead of what questions or how questions. And this is true in anything, right? So obviously I'm here to share the unwritten rules of your career with you, but this also works in life and this works in business. So imagine asking your partner, why didn't you do the dishes? You probably get a reaction that is slightly negative or defensive. Whereas if you ask the question, what is the reason that you didn't do the dishes? Well, we agreed that tonight is your night. It opens up a different spectrum and it lands much more inviting and welcoming versus why not? Why didn't you do it? And something I want you to consider is that the brain answers the question you give it. So if you keep asking why not me? Why him or her? Why do I keep getting passed over? Your brain will keep searching for evidence of unfairness. So the why not me or why did she or he got the job will continue to cause feelings of frustration, unfairness, anger, and potentially sadness as well. So the question then becomes, what are those questions that you need to start asking to give you better answers? Because it's easy to, and again, something else. Why? Why did somebody else get the job? Why not me? That why, either your brain answers it for yourself and then it's unfairness comes up or frustration because you probably feel that you are the one that should have gotten the job, that you are the one that should have gotten the project, right? And if it's your own brain answering that question, it's probably going to stay in the place that you're already at: unfairness, frustration, and anger. Whereas when you move, no, before you move, that's one. So your brain answers the question itself, or it goes to blame game. It goes to, my manager doesn't see me, my boss doesn't recognize me. Why did he make that decision? And then again, you give your power away because you keep asking a question that does not serve you. It does not help with moving you forward. And again, I want to reiterate, it's absolutely okay and fine to have feelings of sadness, anger, frustration. And it's okay to share those feelings because we're human in a corporate environment. However, in order for you to move forward, in order for you to influence and control your own destiny, your own path, and your own career, the shift is asking what or how instead of why. Now, it's totally fine if you want to stay in a negative spiral and keep asking why questions and feel sad and angry and frustrated to the world, but how does that serve you? Are you here to be angry and sad and frustrated, or are you here to shine your gift and greatness and share it with the world? Okay? So think about for yourself, what are the questions you need to start asking ASAP to move you from that place of stuckness and frustration to that feeling of empowerment and progression and moving forward on your terms? Now, I know we operate in an environment. If you're a professional, you are dependent on your team, your manager, your coworkers. I totally get that. But what I see daily with professionals is they underestimate how much they can influence and control their own destiny. If you feel that your scope is not big enough and you're getting bored or you're not being challenged, the why question is, why doesn't my manager give me more responsibility? Why does this company not recognize my potential and gives me a bigger scope or more interesting projects? Okay. Is that the best use of your time? What about you start asking, how can I make my role more interesting? How can I continue to grow in the environment that I'm in? How can I start building the bridge to the role that I really want? And who is going to help me get there? One is coming from a place of my destiny, my path, and my future is in the hands of somebody else, versus the other one, the what or how question, is my path, my destiny, and my future is in my own hands. Right? So I want you to ponder on that. I want you to ponder on wherever you are in your career, in your life, in your business, what are the questions you need to start asking now in order to get you closer to what you want? Because those why questions are taking away mental bandwidth that you really are better to start using in a different way. Okay, now with that comes the other thing. So the first thing that I'm capturing here is, what are the questions you should be asking? So you get my point with the questions. The other one is ownership. What is the reason that I keep hammering on this part of asking the better questions? Because one is ownership and the other one is not. One is reactive, the other one is proactive. And what comes together with that is decisions. Decisions, dear listeners, is one of the hardest things. Like, people do not want to take decisions. How many times have you been on a project where it's a single decision that nobody wants to take? And so it's weeks after weeks after weeks of, we need a bit more information. We need one more scenario. We need to quantify it. We need to bring in other people, other departments, because nobody wants to take the damn decision. And so for ourselves, when you think about you as a professional, right, who is providing services and knowledge to a organization, to an employer, most of us leave decisions to our managers, our companies, Or timing. Oh, I just need to wait. I'm not ready. But when you start asking those better questions, you start making better decisions. And I always say life is not about a choice. Life is not about options. Life is about decision. Okay. How do you react? What is your decision when you find yourself in a opportunity or maybe a situation that is new to you, that can influence the trajectory of your career? And I also want you to consider that decision is energy. Because when you decide, when you make a decision, it's the moment that you stop waiting. It's the moment that you stop leaving your life, your career, your business to chance in the hand of others, and you start leading. And now I know what you might be thinking. Okay, this is all great, Sam. I get the concept. It's fantastic. However, I operate in an organization where decisions are made by other people. Exactly. That is true, which is why I launched this podcast, Your Career by Design. So when a decision is made, you can react with your decision on that decision. So what do I mean? For example, in the case of a reorganization and you get offered a different role, or a different team, a different manager. Most of us, most people I speak to, they revert to frustration, not being happy, feeling that the decision was taken for them without their own input, without their own feelings, without their own vision of what they want for themselves in their career. But here's the thing. Like I already explained, it's a system. So how do you make decisions inside of the system? How do you feel that you're back in control of your career? Because those external decisions that your manager makes, that your organization makes, they provide a framework that you operate in. Okay? It's like having guardrails, boundaries, and it's actually providing you clarity. It's information. You might have the feeling that a decision has been made without my consent, but it's actually boundaries, guardrails, a framework for you, which you can operate in and make your own decisions. So when a decision is made for you, you can react. Because now you know the rules of the game. Now you know the boundaries. Now you know the framework. Now you know the guardrails. And within that context, what is the decision that you have to make? What are the questions that you have to ask in order to get closer to what you want, operating in that context, operating in that framework, but feeling that you are in control, because you are making decisions based on decisions that were made for you externally. Okay, this might be a lot to digest. Okay, if you have any questions, check out the show notes. You can always ask me questions. But I just wanted to give you this perspective because I see so much energy and power actually being wasted on asking the wrong questions, on feeling like you do not have control over your career. Whereas once you start to unlock your mindset and shifting focus to why not me, why him, why her, into how can I take this opportunity, this framework, this new reality, and thrive? Okay. So for example, if you have been giving a smaller scope as part of the organization or a new manager who is shuffling responsibilities, that might feel like a loss. That might feel like you're not growing anymore or you're not contributing or all the work that you have done over the past weeks and months are not recognized. But what if you start thinking about, hey, I have a smaller scope. That's actually a good thing because with the smaller scope, I create space and time for me to create my own opportunities, to be involved in projects, to get more visibility with the senior leaders in my organization. So it's really about, instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Operating from a mindset of, this is happening for me. How am I going to take this situation and turn it into an advantage? turn it into an opportunity. And that's what distinguishes the top 10% of high performers and high achievers from the other 90 who are stuck in feelings of frustration, anger, feeling like they're out of control, or they don't have control over their career. Okay? And so asking the right questions combined with taking decisions, owning your decisions, and not blaming somebody else, that's what makes a difference. Because clarity doesn't come before decisions, doesn't come before the questions, it comes after. You decide first, you ask the right questions first, and then everything starts to organize around that decision. So to recap, how can you start asking better questions? Because your brain will give you answers. So do you want your brain to give you answers that expand, or do you want your brain to give you answers that contract and keep you in the same place that you are today? Why not me? Why is this happening to me? Why don't they see me? Why am I not recognized? That's a waste of your energy. You don't have energy for that. How about start asking the question, what is the situation teaching me? How can I turn this into an opportunity? And if you're feeling stuck right now, I want you to pause and ask, what do I really want next? What am I no longer available for? And what's one decision I can make today that moves me closer to that goal? And I would love to hear what comes up from you. Like I said, in the show notes, you can see how you can contact me. I'm doing this for you, dear listener. So please let me know when you start asking these questions, when you start making bold decisions, what comes up for you and what changes for you. And I want to leave you with this. Asking the right questions is not about getting perfect answers, because you won't get perfect answers all the time. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. But it's about reclaiming your power to design your next chapter. Remember, this podcast unlocked your career by design instead of your career by chance. So I'm going to leave you with that. I look forward to seeing you next week. Let me know how this episode resonates. And when you are happy to help me out, leave a 5-star review and share it with somebody who can use the help. See you next week. You have been listening to Unlocked Your Career by Design with Samantha Florence. If today's episode sparked something, here's your next step. Follow the show and leave a 5-star review. That's how we reach more ambitious women ready to break barriers. And if you know a colleague or friend who needs this, share it with them, because lifting one woman lifts us all. Until next week, keep owning your spotlights.